sharing with you tonight. We have some low-hanging fruit, and honestly, this was not part of the scheduled call that we had for today, but I feel like we need to talk about it, and it's important to talk about because Arbonne just kicked off an incredible Black Friday sale, and I'm sure you guys have already seen it. I was going to pull up the s'more, but you guys all have this s'more within your hands. So if you haven't seen the s'more yet, I highly suggest that you ask your upline, say, where the heck is this s'more so I can look at all the details. But honestly, all you have to do is go to arbonne.com, click on shop, click on Black Friday, and you're going to see all the sets. The only thing is when you pull up that section, I was in there earlier shopping, and when you pull up that section, when it comes to sets, it's going to show skincare. So you have to click nutrition if you're pulling and shopping from your computer that way. You have to click on the nutrition to see the nutrition sets. You guys, there's so many nutrition sets. Like, it's really an insane sell. And I know all of us who've been in Arbonne for a while, I feel like it's the biggest sell I've ever seen them do. I can't remember all of them. But it is an incredible special. And here's a couple of reasons why I'm excited about it. Well, it's just an amazing sale because you guys, it's 20 to 50% off. So to be able to share with people that this is a 20 to 40% off, excuse me, special is amazing. So for the folks who are going to get 20% off, those are just clients. Those are people who are not a preferred client or an IC. So that's just somebody that just wants to order and not become a preferred client. They're going to get 20% off these sets. But existing preferred clients, this is where it gets confusing because people always add the 20 plus a 20 and think it's 40% off. It's not quite. It's just a little bit shy of that. So if it's they've already taken, so Arbonne has already taken the adjusted the prices, and so we get a little bit different QV on these as well because of the discount. So basically what they do is they've already discounted everything by 20%. And then as a preferred client then gets 20% off of that. So if you do the math, like 20% off, and then you take 20% off of that, it's kind of like 38% is the discount. Same thing for ICs. It's not 55% off. It's 20% off, and then you get 35% off of that. Still an incredible deal, but there are some items that are actually 50% off, which I'm sure you guys already saw that. That's part of the hair products. Some of those hair products are 50% off. They are marked down in a big way. So lots of things to celebrate. So what do we do with this? You know, some of you are already prepared. You've already got your messages out. You have your VIP groups. There's so many different things. And if you already have something you're doing, type it up in the chat. Whether you have a VIP group, whether you're sending out project broadcasts, whatever you're doing, and however you're communicating with your PCs, let us know in the chat because it's more is better when we're sharing, and sharing is caring, right? So what I'm utilizing is project broadcast. You could utilize, you could be texting to your customers, giving them a phone call. Lots of people have VIP groups on Facebook. So it is totally up to you. But the important part is we get the information out. Now, if your preferred client is plugged in and really paying attention to what Arbonne sends out, they're already aware of that. Several of my preferred clients were like, I already got the message. I already got the info from Arbonne and I'm excited to order. So that was great. But I also let my ICs know as well, because for those folks who aren't as connected or engaged, I want to make sure they saw the specials too. So this is just an incredible time to let people know. And so with this, because if you're, with this, the excitement also comes with having activity over these last couple of weeks. So we have 2 weeks between today and when this sale ends. So the sale actually ends on December 2nd. I'm really excited about that. We'll know a little bit more in the couple of weeks of why I get really excited about that. But it ends on Cyber Monday, and because Thanksgiving is so late, Thanksgiving is like really late. It's the 28th. It's, only 2 days left after Thanksgiving till the end of the month. And so Cyber Monday falls on December 2nd. And so that's why this sale overlaps into the month of December. So for those folks that we don't get before Thanksgiving with our Black Friday sale, we're going to have some time to follow up, which I think is incredible. That's going to give us a great opportunity. But I will say this, guys, unless we have kind of a roadmap or a goal or something that helps us get an idea of what we want to do with this, we're probably not going to do anything with it. I want to invite people to come into this and see it as a way to build a foundation for promotion. You know, my one friend, Tammy Clinton did a training at one time years ago called Commotion to Promotion. And when we have something like this, like I said at the beginning, this is low hanging fruit. So think about it as you've got this big Arbonne's this big tree, which literally that's what Arbonne means. It's a big tree and you have fruit that you can reach without having to climb up a ladder. So when they offer us something like this, it gives us an opportunity to create some QV, to create some commotion with our current and existing customers. But it also gives us an opportunity to create some commotion with new folks, with the activity that we have, with the one-on-ones, the presentations. Guys, we're going to be all engaging in Thanksgiving and all kinds of different things. And I will tell you that I love the last few days of the month after Thanksgiving because there's a lot of opportunities in that to be engaging with folks too. So anybody who sits down with us, whether it's somebody that's hosting an event or a one-on-one, is going to have an opportunity to get these killer deals. So this is why it's so fun. I remember years ago, Arbonne didn't do a Black Friday special like years ago. We did our own. So we had to create our own and kind of come up with something fun. And I still made the most of that. And it was still one of my biggest weekends of the year. And because of just the excitement around having these specials for folks during this time, because people are shopping, and this gives us a great opportunity to help people with Christmas. This gives us a great opportunity to help people get a head start on, you know, bridging the gap for those folks who aren't ready to do a 30 days right now. This gives them an opportunity to do some of the other smaller nutrition sets between now and the end of the year. So there's so many things that we can do with this sale. But guys, unless we kind of have a plan, we're not going to know. So I'm going to talk a minute about what that plan looks like. Originally tonight, we were supposed to talk about goal setting and what that looks like. And I'm going to change it up just a little bit because I really want to create a plan around this special, because then we're going to have our next phase after, you know, this special rolls out or finishes. We're going to be rolling into December. And guys, I know tomorrow was supposed to be the big announcement for GTC and registration. I know so many of you are ready to enter with your registration. I know I am. But they moved it back to December 3rd. So Tuesday, December 3rd is going to be when that kickoff happens. And Sion Mork, our founder's son, is going to be going live on Instagram talking about this. It's an exciting time, you guys. It's our 45th anniversary next year. It's going to be a really big deal in Vegas. It will be definitely the biggest celebration Arbonne has out of the year next year in Vegas. You're going to want to be a part of that. But they didn't want to hinder any of the excitement around the Black Friday sale, so they pushed it back 2 weeks. So December 3rd. So mark that on your calendar because there's a lot of fun things happening on that day to launch and celebrate and kick off GTC 2025. Can't wait. Can't wait. So just note that too, because I know a lot of us were expecting that that was coming on tomorrow. That's in 2 weeks. So guys, how can we take advantage of what Arbonne is launching? And that, to me, I've said it several times, is having a goal. And having a goal, think about it. Like for those of you who went to college and you are now in a career that required you to go to college, you sat down with a counselor at one point. They asked you, what would you like to do? You told them what you would like to do. And then what did they do? They helped set out a roadmap for you. They basically went through all the different classes that are required for that. They went through all of that. In high school, they did that. Like I knew I didn't like science at all, but I knew I needed to have enough science to get into a four-year university. So I took exactly what I needed, which was 2 years. I took multi-science and biology because I do not like science, but I took exactly what I needed. That was the roadmap they gave me. They gave me a roadmap of all the other courses and what are some extracurricular things I was going to need to be able to be accepted into college. And the same thing, like I said, when you get to college, they give you a roadmap. Well, our industry is no different. Like we have roadmaps, we have things that we can lay out depending on what your goal is and what you want to do. Maybe your goal is you want to promote to district manager by the end of this month or by the end of the year. Maybe your goal is area manager by the end of the year. Maybe your goal is to get into qualification for regional vice president with the discounted qualifications they have right now, because we hit 40 this month and 40 next month. You're an RVP, and they have the same things going for a national vice president. With that being said, if you do have a goal of getting to one of the 4 levels, or maybe your goal is to bonus, if you're already already a district, you're already area, region, nation. Maybe your goal is to bonus at a certain level. Maybe your goal is to hit all 3 bonuses. Whatever that looks like, guys, this is what this is how can we create the roadmap to make that happen? So what I want to encourage you to do, if you haven't done this already, is I want you to write that down. Write that down. We're in the last 2 months of the year. So we can look at that December 1st. If you want to look at November 30th and then December 1st, but we have to have that roadmap. And guys, I would really encourage you to really take a look at the rest of, or the beginning of 2025, because what we do at the end of 2024 rolls into 2025 and helps us create momentum as we head into Las Vegas. A lot of you who might be watching this for the first time are new, and there's a lot of fun and exciting things that happen in Vegas. Becoming a brand new area manager gets you invited to a really incredible party that Arbonne throws just for folks who promoted to area RVP or NVP. It's a really special party, and you want to get an invitation to that. So that requires becoming an area manager by June 1st. Anytime before that, and you'll get invited to that event. The Pure Vibe Party is what we call it. Getting to regional vice president or national vice president, you get invited to be celebrated on a stage walk where you get to walk in front of everybody there and celebrate it, and your team is celebrated with you. It's incredible. So there's a lot of fun things going on in Vegas. So that might be your goal. But more importantly, Carlita's been saying this a lot lately, it's not about the promotion, it's about the paycheck. More importantly, what is it that you need? Like, what would make a big difference for you and your family right now? Like, what monetary amount? And once you write that down, and if you're not sure what that looks like on the roadmap, like if you're not sure what, if that's a certain level in Arbonne, if you're not sure about that, ask your regional vice president or national vice president. Ask them, hey, what is this going to take? If I need to consistently bring home $1,000 a month because I'd like to get out of debt, I'd like to invest, I'd like to put my kids in private school, whatever that looks like for you. And write that down. And then they're going to be able to help show you what that looks like. They're going to be able to, because this call is going to be very like vague, because I can't sit here and do every single person's roadmap. I would love to do that. So if you would like that, just let me know and we could do that outside of this call. But that's the first thing we have to do, is figure out what do we want. So whether it's a dollar amount, a title, whatever that looks like, figure that out, write that down, because that's going to help you. Just like I said, when you told your college counselor, I want to be a nurse, and then they showed you what the plan was and how to break that down. So once you know what that is, that's when you have your goal. And this is what's so important, is we got to write it down. And there's too many statistics out there, you guys, in our favor for writing things down. Like, it's insane. The statistics are the statistics that work against you if we don't write it down. And I always like to ask people, what scares you about writing a goal down? And oftentimes people tell me, well, they don't want to fail, and they're worried about it just not happening. And so this is where we get to do something different. I know that I learned about goal setting when I joined Arbonne in 2004, and it turned around and changed so much for me and my husband. And we sit down at the beginning of every year. We write down separate goals that we have in a journal, and we sit down and write down all the things that we'd like to accomplish. What are the things that we had written down the year before that didn't quite get done? We write down all those things, and then we sit together for a couple hours and we talk about it, and we share collectively with each other those different things that we have. But it's a really great exercise that we do at the beginning of the year. So if you haven't done something like that, it's amazing. But it took me joining a business like Arbonne to open up my eyes to doing things like that. So what happened inadvertently is it taught all 4 of my kids to also write down their goals and to be goal oriented, and all of them work hard on coming up with their word of the year and all the different things that come with goal setting. So, but this is where I don't want you guys to wait until January. So let's get started now. Do you have that goal? Like I said, that's the first thing. The second thing is to map it out. And if you're not quite sure what that looks like, that's where you got to ask for help, because that's where someone up above is going to sit down with you and sit down and figure that out. For me, when I joined, I needed to make a consistent extra $500 a month, because my goal was to give my husband a guaranteed 1 day off a week. And so that was district manager. So when Carlene and I sat down, we talked about how to get to district manager. I ended up going into qualification for area manager my second month, and I was like, oh, and that's where my vision really grew, was at area manager. That was when I thought, oh, this is more than me. This is where I started helping people. And that's where I saw, wow, this is going to be bigger than what I could see. And because I had never had a goal of being a regional or national vice president, but I will say this. We had an action plan back then, and it had a spot to write down your goal dates for each level, and I did write them down. I actually had those numbers in, and I just put random, months. They were really quick. I did not meet any of them, not district, area, region, or nation. I was late on all four. But I wrote them down, and I feel like that says a lot because somewhere deep down inside of me, I guess I was like, well, what the heck? You never know. I mean, I did tell Carlita, I'm like, if I get to that Mercedes level, I'm not going to drive the Mercedes. And I think I'm on my, I don't even know, seventh Mercedes. So I definitely drove the Mercedes. So map that out and figured out what that looks like. And with this cell, someone could today be at 0 and go district by November 30th. Like 100% could be done. That could be done without the cell. Actually, you could do first step area. So I just want you guys to know, unless you know what that looks like, we're just kind of floundering. We might be just running around and not having that goal. It'd be like somebody going to college. I'm going to use that example again. It'd be like somebody going to college and be like, whatever I do, what the heck? No, like it helps us finish things when we have a plan. If we don't have a plan, we're going to be running around like our chicken with our head cut off. And that is why the statistics work against us if we don't have a plan. So map that out, do some time, figure that out tonight. What is your goal? What do you want to accomplish? And then if you're not sure, write that up in a text and send it to your RVP or MVP and say, this is what I need to accomplish in the next couple months. This is what I want to accomplish by November 30th. This is what I want to accomplish by December 31st. And this is what I want to accomplish by June 1st. And have them help create a plan for what that looks like, just as if you were sitting across from your counselor, right? And then the last thing, guys, is as execute. This is how we execute things, is we then create that plan. I'm going to actually share my screen really quick. This is like, I have this on my website, but it's still one of my favorite goal sheets to show.
Hey, Brian,
The reason
it's
being,
ready.
fun. The reason why this is one of my favorite goal sheets is because it shows what you need. On the right-hand side, you'll see it shows the number of group presentations. This would be something you already have, or if you have one-on-ones, if you're just doing mostly one-on-ones, you would write down that activity and what it looks like. And when you know what your goal is, then you can kind of gauge how much more do I need, depending on where you are today and how far you are away from what you want to hit at the end of the month. Then you subtract that number of how far away you are, where you need to go, and then you can kind of gauge that by, okay, this is kind of activity I need. This is how many people I need to talk to in the next 5 days. This is how many events I want to schedule between now and November 30th. And then likewise for the next month as well. And so that's why I like this, because then you can write the things down, you have it as a visual, you have it to see, and you can go from there. And then also it talks about, this is where you also, when you have team members, if you already have team members, you put them down and you talk about, you can write down what their goals are, because this is how you're going to be able to figure out what your overall team goal is. And so if you're not sure where to find this, it's actually on Arbonne's website on the source monthly goal sheet, but it's also at thebethglardy.com. Password is Arbonne, all lowercase, and it's under goal setting. But this is definitely still one of my favorites to show, because you can basically, it's a great month at a glance to see what you're working towards, what you have currently booked, and where you're going, because execution is the last thing. That's how we're going to make it happen. And if you're like me, I like to set myself different types of goals to make something happen, whether it's, I'm not going to reward myself with such and such until I get this many things booked. Whatever that looks like. I remember there was a gal one time on our team. What was it that she liked? It was something from Starbucks. And she would not reward herself with this drank every day unless she had 8 activities scheduled on her calendar. So I remember Sherry Nickel. Sherry Nickel was like, I'm not going to go shopping until I get to regional vice president. And she loves to shop. And so, we don't have to do things like that, but whatever it is for you, there's all kinds of fun things we can do to help create that. So that's some of the things I want to share about goal setting. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything that you'd like to add? I'm reading in the chats about, yay, Cheryl. I know you're going to do it. I've already seen her sticky notes. So fun. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, the sticky notes is another thing that helps me. I see it every single day and it makes me think about, I got to get moving. I got to do some activity. I got to check
Yes.
in with people and follow up. So that's
I
another
am
thing.
so
But
proud.
I